I'd like to, is this on? Yeah. I'd like to call the Hancock June meeting to order. Debbie, can you call the roll, please?
Present.
Councilmember Marina. Present. Councilmember Knott. Here. Councilmember Oswald. Here. Mayor Foskey.
Present. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 20th, 2024 meeting. Second? Okay, discussion on this. Any corrections that haven't been forwarded already to Matt or Debbie?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Debbie, I didn't get a chance to forward these to you. On page 5, under Planning Commission, it says there will be 3 joint public hearings in June. Do we have 3?
That might have been what was said then, and maybe something got bumped tonight, but
Okay.
it was. Okay,
There's 2.
okay, that's fine. We can change that to 2.
The other one is the spellings of Barbara and Steve Johnson's. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other additions? We're okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We have a couple, a couple of housekeeping things that addendas to the amendments to the agenda. The first one is we've asked the farmers market to at the last meeting to come up with a plan. They would like to present that to us at some point. We also have we wanted to appoint a committee to design, finally get a design for the Queen Street parking lot. That's not and we want to do that. And the third thing is, I think we wanted to discuss the website somewhat, which could be done at the town manager's report. And also the final thing is that we need to do now is that we have a joint public hearing with the Planning Commission. They do not have a quorum. We need to appoint somebody from the Mr. Brockmeyer has resigned. He was our representative to the Planning Commission. We need to appoint a council representative to the Planning Commission. We can do it. We can appoint a temporary person until we seat the new council in January if you want to. So in order to proceed with this hearing, the council needs to appoint somebody at the Planning Commission, one of our council members. This is not open. It's not a public representative. It's a council representative. There is no council representative to the Planning Commission. So there are the 4 things I'd like to add to the agenda. It's okay. I need a vote on that. All in favor? Opposed? How many ayes do we have?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Motion carries. All right. So before we have the joint public hearing, the first thing I'd like to take up is the council member to the Planning Commission. Does anybody want to do that? I'd be glad to do that temporarily. If somebody wants to, or if anybody else wants to do it, that's fine. Do you want? Well, you're not going to be around long enough to do it, I don't think. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anybody else interested?
That would be lovely, Fletcher.
Okay, and I'm saying I'm going to do it until January or earlier than that if we appoint somebody, when we seat the new council.
You can, as I was asking you before, can you appoint or someone for this meeting and maybe the next, and then just put it out there for someone to take over the position because it's long-term?
Well, that's fine. If somebody on this council, if you guys want to change your mind in a couple of months, that's fine. I'm just going to fill in temporarily. Yeah. If you want to seat somebody that's on the council.
I'm just
now.
saying, if we say you're going to do it for a couple of meetings and then open it up so people will know that before January, that someone can take that seat.
But it's only open to council members though.
Oh, you,
Or
okay,
council members. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not the general
Oh,
public.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just you then.
Well,
Okay.
or if you guys want to change your mind and step up. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we need a motion, please.
Never mind.
I need a motion, somebody. I can't make a motion.
I move to appoint Mayor Foskey on the planning commission.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, all right. So I'm temporarily going to be on the planning commission so we can have the meeting. All right. All right. Now we can move to the joint public hearings. I guess you want to call your planning commission to order? What? It's planning commission. It's a joint public hearing.
Commissioner Dillon,
They just seated me.
Mayor Foskey,
I'm present.
So 4 members.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
they have,
Chairperson Shriver.
yeah, that's why we had to do that.
Thank you.
All right, I'm now going to open the public hearing for the rezoning application for 24 King Street from commercial to residential. Scott, you want to open your public hearing as well? Okay. Does any, and Matt, you want to say something about this rezoning? Yeah,
Sure, it's for everybody who's familiar with town, it's Jack Richardson's old place, and that was a zoned commercial. The new owner has applied to make it a long-term rental. In order to do that, it would have to be rezoned as residential. That building is surrounded on all sides except one in the rear where it is not residential, but that's on Market Street. So I had recommended to Planning Commission that they approve the application to rezone it to residential. And that's where Scott comes in. They took a vote and it was unanimous that they agree that the rezoning was appropriate and met the character of the neighborhood.
Okay. All right, so the public hearing is now open. Does anybody like to address about the public hearing for this? All right, close the public hearing for the 24 King Street. All right. All right,
Planning Commission has to close also.
yeah, you close your,
Public hearing on King Street residential is closed.
do you want to take up, you need to you need to vote again if you, well, since there was no public comment, I guess your vote's the same, correct? Yeah. You need to vote again? Yeah. Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye, okay, all right. Yeah, aye, yeah, so it's 4. Okay, all right. So I'm now going to open the public hearing to remove Article 7 off-street parking from the town ordinances. That public hearing is now open.
Is council going to vote?
Well, yeah, I was going to do the 2 public hearings first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually supposed to be council to action, well, we don't have any council act. Yeah, all right, so we're going to open, you want to open that public hearing too, please?
Sure. Planning Commission public hearing.
All right, Matt, do you want to give us a brief thing on this one?
Sure. As we went through the review of the ordinance for, I believe it's called parking, stopping, and standing. Planning Commission's taken several months to go through and write a good ordinance that is gonna grow with our downtown. So they've written that, and then as we were going through it, we found Article 12 called off-street parking, which requires each district type to have a certain number of parking spots off-street designated for them by square foot. So in the business district, it's one parking space dedicated for each 100 square foot of flooring. Now, if you were to do the math on that, the building under construction with the condos is nearly 17,000 square feet. That would require 170 spots. We have 164 off-street parking spots in town. So as we went through this, it appears that when the ordinances were originally written in '89, this was copied from someplace that actually has enough room to have an ordinance like this, because we're not even close. That was one building, we've used every parking space. And then some. So this Article 12 simply doesn't fit on Hancock. So Planning Commission went through, looked at it in its entirety. Special exemptions for churches and restaurants need to have one parking space per table and one an additional for every 6 employees. We would never make it. So they just said, given the fact that we've written a parking policy that is going to accommodate the mixed use, the change to mixed use downtown, this ordinance doesn't make any sense, and they recommend it be removed from the ordinance book.
I'm going to open the public hearing on this. Or any public comment on this? Come on, come up front. Priscilla, yeah.
It makes sense. Priscilla Hart, 21 Market Street. I live in town and I am a taxpayer. You're right, it doesn't make any sense. None of that makes any sense. So I have no objection to that, but I do have a question, and I don't know if this is appropriate to ask a question, but do we get to see what was decided about the new parking regulations? Is that somewhere?
That's going to be on the agenda for next month. So there will be a public hearing for that, and it'll be published along with the town council package.
Thank you. So right now, we don't have any parking regulations then. Once we make these go away, we
Well,
could
once
just
you
do
make
whatever
this-
we want.
Once you remove
Thank you.
this, if they choose to remove this, the parking, stopping and standing that's in place currently stays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is just an annex that we don't know where it came from.
Thank you.
Matt, but it's gonna be August, not July, correct?
Yes, it's gonna be August. Because the only thing that we had to clean up was one piece of small language, and then you were gonna vote on it. Okay.
Is there any other public comment on this? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing.
You want us to vote on it?
Oh, you need to close your public hearing first. Yeah.
Yes, the planning commission public hearing on off-street parking is closed.
Yeah. I had a question about we haven't seen the ordinance, but we are with the possible increase in upper story residences, we are looking at some kind of control for parking for that in this new ordinance. Yeah, because I know I've been to several, convention Main Street things that there's always talking about when you get a lot of these upstairs people that you just can't let parking, go without.
It's,
Yeah.
It's 3-hour parking between 5 a.m. and 5
But if somebody does an apartment building upstairs, are they going to,
5 p.m. to 5 a.m.
are they going to be required to provide spaces? If they put they're not.
No, it's
Okay.
gonna have to use public parking space.
No, but are they going to be able to require, yeah, okay, so, well, but like for the Wilson building, they are providing some parking if they, right?
They have the
Yeah.
land to do it,
Uh,
but they're also gonna be able to park on the Queen Street lot.
All right, but you're still haven't presented the whole thing, this is coming in what, August, you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have their next meeting in August. We've tightened it up to the point where they're very comfortable. There was a couple of very small changes that they wanted.
So
to see.
we're not going to see it till September probably, right? Or August meeting? August meeting, okay, all right,
Nobody moving in right away anyway.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just concerned that we're just throwing, everything away, we're not have any controls over people, so, but. yeah.
That's my concern also.
Yeah.
What I understood you to say is you want to remove this from the ordinance. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Totally. And then come in with a new one.
right? But there's one that's in place. There are two, you have to understand, there are two in the ordinances right now. One is the downtown parking, stopping and standing. And then there's this one.
We're not discussing the first one at all now.
That's right. You're not
Right.
discussing the first one,
Yeah.
but it remains in the ordinances until you decide to change it if you do.
We're gonna get a whole look at this at the coming, at a public hearing and everything. Yeah.
Okay, we're not voting to remove this.
No, we are gonna vote,
Yeah.
we're just voting to remove the stipulation that says that if you have a
One
building, you have to have a certain number of parking places reserved for that building. They're two different ordinances.
So schedule, section 38-439 point, schedule of off-street parking. Is that what you're asking to remove?
All of Article 12 is what Planning Commission recommends you remove.
Where's Article
The
12?
whole thing is that.
The whole thing? That's my concern.
But there's another parking ordinance in
This
place.
is just off-street parking, not on-street parking.
Right. There's another ordinance in place that's been in place for years and years.
What ordinance is that? You Probably
I
don't
it
know.
off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm in there.
Well, my concern is on our zoning map, which we could use a new one of these, seriously. R1, I assume that is residential 1A, 1B, and 1C. Because it's just listed as R1.
Correct.
And it says that you have to have 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit.
Off-street.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Tia.
Because what we took from somewhere else can't work here. We don't have enough.
Well, off-street would mean you have to have a driveway to park in, right?
That's right.
Is there a problem with, I think that's a good idea to have parking for residences.
No, she's talking about R1.
Yeah, yeah.
You're talking about all one.
Right. I think residents should have parking.
But this really has nothing to do with this. This is just to right a wrong that we looked at, and all of a sudden, he kind of, the space is in town, all
Yeah.
the way out,
Right.
edge of town, and we don't have enough if you take them all.
Okay. So this is just for off-street parking. Okay. Gotcha. Can you hear me now?
I thought it does remove the requirement in R1 though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's right. You are removing the requirement to have off-street parking in R1. So if you build a house, you don't have to have a driveway or parking.
In R1.
Yeah. Is it-
R2.
Yeah, and I can understand I can understand I can understand the business, because if you build, businesses are landlocked, there's no way if you buy a building in town, there's no parking. I mean, you can't. But a residence, if we have somebody build, shouldn't they be required to have off-street parking? I mean, you haven't presented this to us, so we're not, I mean, you presented, we can still get rid of it and then come back with something better. Yeah, but I'm just saying that,
It's gotta be changed in some fashion.
Yeah.
We can't give them
well, it's council's, yeah,
spots.
yeah.
We can't make more spots than we have in the whole town.
I understand about the B1. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, yeah.
I understand that too.
Yeah.
My concern is the residential.
I can add it to the parking that you're gonna be looking at again in August without any problem.
If you're adding it to, this requirement adding to residential, doesn't it not grandfather in anything that's already in existence?
Sure. I mean, it's not gonna require somebody to go build a driveway.
Thank you.
No, yeah, I'm not. I think most places have driveways, don't they? I mean, I can't,
Not all.
Not all.
huh?
Not all.
Very few that don't have driveways. There are some.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so, well, it's council's what they want to do, yeah. But we still have time we can put something back in on the new ordinance, correct? Yes, okay, yeah. All right. So, all right, so the public hearing is closed. You guys need to vote on this again. Okay. All right. So let's move on to council discussion of the rezoning we need council vote on the rezoning for application for 24 King Street. Do we have a motion to approve it?
Accept the council and planning commission's recommendation to rezone
Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Uh,
Yeah, I would like to thank Jeff for doing this, first of all. You know, I'm sure it's going to be very nice. So I wonder if any of your neighbors have said anything about it. I can't imagine they would have a problem.
They haven't had any problem, and they've been helping me with work.
And
watching
I
the
thought I
dog.
knew the answer to that. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? 5-0. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right. Remove Article 7 for off-street parking from the town ordinances. Oh, I'm sorry, 12. Geez, I can't see the V, the X. I know, looks like 7. Anyway, I need a motion on this one.
I move that we remove Article 12 regarding off-street parking with the provision that the residential off-street parking be added into the new ordinance that we'll see in August.
Discussion?
Just a question about how the timing of that gap would work. I doubt that anybody would be intending to set up construction on something without a driveway in that interval, but in case there's a snag, where does that leave us?
Are we fixing a problem a solution for there's no problem for, you know, I mean,
That's my question.
I don't think there's a problem here. So I could be wrong, but is there any building? I mean, they're building, huh?
Keep in mind that we do have restrictions on parking on town streets, so.
Yeah. But as far as I know, I mean, I don't know. They're building driveways with the new buildings that are going out to the fairground. Yeah. They're the only buildings I know that are going up. Yeah. It's at Carnival Ground. Yeah, good point. Any other discussion or call to vote? All in favor?
Could we wait until we have the ordinance and then revoke this one and adopt the next one?
We have a motion on the floor. Yeah, unless somebody, yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I did, your eye. All opposed? Okay, what's that, 3-1? 4-1. Okay, motion carries. Okay. All right. Oh, you're counting. Thank you. You're our official count. All right. Yeah, public presentation, we have none. Police presentation. Thank you, Planning Commission. Thank you so much for your help, guys. So there is no July meeting? And so the next Planning Commission is, they might know? First Monday in August, correct? Okay, all right. The 5th, August 5th is the next Planning Commission meeting. That's right, we didn't even have anyone yet.
So this isn't really a police presentation, but we've gotten a lot of questions that I thought Chief might be able to talk with us about. One of them was, talk about the efficacy of the new cameras. Are they working? Doing it. Next thing was, we got another flurry of car break-ins. And, not only what can we do other than locking our car doors, but what can the police do? Are there any tools they need? I know they've gotten some new game cameras that are in different spots that are obviously far less expensive than the cameras that we have. Chief was able to secure a grant for more cameras. We wanted to talk about where those are going to be placed. So with all of that, I wanted to turn it over to Chief, and then hopefully you folks will be able to ask the questions of him that you've been asking of him.
Are you going to make a little presentation first?
Joe, if you don't mind, if
Sure.
you got questions, ask them and I'll answer. I think it's the easiest way.
Okay, go all right.
personally. So
Questions right away? You want to start?
you might as well hit me.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us about the about the cameras and what's the story with the cameras and how, if they're working and do you think they're
Yes.
effective?
We have 4 key locations right now. Oh, we have 4 key locations right now. These locations contain anywhere from 1 to 2 cameras. Are they working? Yes and no. Depends on what you mean by working. Where they're at? Yes, we've seen a drop, but they know where they're at. All you got to do is drive down the street and look up. Unfortunately, they're visible. We have had several cases built off them. The matter of fact, a year ago today, I think they went in no, I'm sorry. A year ago today, they were in operation for 3 days and we got a drive-by, 2 cars shooting at each other. I mean, it was unbelievable because I was like, this is quick. Now, you still have to know who you're looking at. Unfortunately, if we don't know them, we have to figure out who they are, whose car they're using, whatever. Because one thing they have learned is if they don't have their car, change their tag, steal a car, makes it 100 times more difficult to figure out who they are. So yes, they are working where they're at. They've been used in different cases, especially with the sheriff's office, actually, because our violent crimes have dropped here, knock on wood, but the people still live here. So we get them coming and going. So we have provided information to other agencies with about the cameras. The grant, I've asked for more from the company than our grant will cover. They're actually contacting Motorola to see if we can get a discount and get more cameras. One of them will be placed in Mount Prospect. And one key location, because it'll be a 4-camera system if I'm able to get it. I've had a lot of questions about what are we seeing on the cameras. The cameras are set up currently. The only people that have access is law enforcement. To view history on cameras, it has to go through me first. So the officers just can't just be curious about where I went or where you went. They have to contact me unless it's a life and death emergency. They don't need me in that situation. But they just can't look at the history on the cameras to be curious about people. None of the cameras are shooting in any windows. They're all on street view. And that's all I got for it right now. Yes, sir.
I saw in the Virginian Pilot, I think it was last week, an article about, the first sentence is a Norfolk Circuit Court granted a defendant's motion to suppress evidence obtained by the city's flock license plate reader cameras without a search warrant, ruling the Fourth Amendment protects the right to privacy.
Yes.
Have you encountered that issue? Is the situation that we are using it with the same or different, et cetera?
It is different. The county has cameras, we have cameras. They have flock. We do not have flock. And the way the flock system works is their cameras tie into Newport News, Norfolk, Virginia Beach. They link as one system. So if I put in a certain license tag, it'll show me if it was in Norfolk, Virginia Beach. And that's where that case is stemming from, because they're saying you search a different system and it's a constitutional violation and so on, but we should not have that. I'm not going to say we won't, but we should not, because ours is in-house. Yeah.
Chief?
Are we using the readers? I thought they're working there.
They work during the day and we're
Okay.
getting some at night. They're not the best at night. We have
Okay,
found.
well, I shouldn't, no.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
How is the public being apprised of a situation? Because I found out about cars being broken into in the neighborhood from neighbors or from somebody else. There was no public information. And when these little sprees happen, the best thing that everybody can do is lock down.
Mhm.
And we have not, if we're not informed and we don't know,
It's impossible to do because there's so many different lawsuits and stuff out there now where I might notify you, but he didn't get notification. Well, he can sue me now because I didn't notify him. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in.
okay.
We're gonna have a problem with that until there's something in place that lets everybody know. And currently, I don't know of any system besides maybe Code Red, and
That's for something, a big emergency.
emergency, yeah.
Yes, I know the county has that, right?
yes.
It's really tough though, when you know that a neighbor who's in on their own all the time and there's no one to tell them unless somebody else that goes and knocks.
Yeah. If I had to answer, I really would tell you, I would do
I
it.
don't know what to do either,
Yeah.
so I just thought maybe you had a better idea.
The only thing is maybe we could, but it's after the fact. I'm sorry to throw this under the bus. Attach something to the water bills. But unfortunately, if you put a note on the water bill, it used to be space. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
no,
if it
that's
is
too
now.
late. I'm just saying, I'm
Exactly.
talking about immediate action so that people are, like, it happened yesterday.
Hold on,
So,
one at a time.
so if it happened yesterday, that a neighborhood is aware and it's just neighbors telling neighbors what's going on, and maybe that is the best way.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
Cool. Question in response to that. What about the text and manager's minute as an avenue for that information?
That's hundreds and hundreds of local folks that would get notified. It's not everybody.
Yeah, it still wouldn't be everybody.
But
That's the
that would,
problem.
that would spread the news and a network.
Was there liability with that? He was saying that, I mean, can we talk to our attorney about that? It should be a pretty quick answer from him.
Yeah, we,
Usually gives me the language I can use.
yeah,
Okay,
but
all right.
unfortunately, we have been taught that if you miss a person, you're responsible. Just, something I found out the other day, a fake camera. We looked at, hey, fake cameras. If they're noticing the camera and it's deterring them, that's a good, maybe they would look into that. No, it's a false sense of security and you're held responsible.
Hmm, okay.
So.
Any other questions for the chief?
It seems that we're in talking.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no,
It is not. Now it is.
thank you.
And it seems that we've been able to pinpoint, because I was personally involved in the last one, approximately what time this is happening.
Mhm.
And I don't think that, you're not going to get an immediate, this is happening at 1
Yeah.
a.m. or 2 a.m. or, so when people are going to go out in their cars the next morning that they're going to find it. So my question is, they ask bank robbers, why do you rob banks? And they say, well, that's where the money
Money.
is. So they're coming to a Nancock because that's where
Because
the
money is.
unlocked cars are. And yeah, I guess you could say the
I'm
money
pretty,
too.
I'm 99% sure that it's the same people involved every time.
Has there been
Historically?
arrests made in this?
No, no,
Okay,
no. Unfortunately, the evidence we have is your car. That's what we got. The cameras, they avoided every camera. There's nothing on any camera. We're moving the cameras. We've been moving them. We're still moving them. That helps because
Right.
maybe they won't notice the cameras,
Yeah.
but that's also not the cheapest thing to do, as I'm finding out.
Right.
Um,
so all these
But-
things, they occurred at the same time, pretty much in the same night, right?
yes, this past time, yes.
And the time before as well, right? Correct? Or-
Yes.
Yeah, so it's one, they
It's
just,
actually almost 6 months to the day.
okay.
So.
And you think it's
That's
the
my
same
question.
people? Okay.
And that's my question is, do we have an officer on duty during those hours?
Not gonna change anything.
Typically, no, not the hours I'm getting. Most of you, when I took over as chief, this was a common thing. We had a couple, it was in this side, this section of town that was on the northeast side. And what we broke it up, I mean, our theft crime rate dropped dramatically with the fifth officer. And what we did was we doubled up. I would pick random days and they were random. I'd have 3 on. And 6 or 8 months and down the process, it dropped. And the people we were dealing with, we get along with our community, even the bad guys. And one of them had nerve come to me and say, this, I'll say it, I can't say it like he said it, this ain't fun no more. It was more
Okay.
colorful, but
Yeah.
but unfortunately, I got to have the men's got to be here, or women, the people. The past month and a half, we've been down one officer constantly.
Because of,
One was out.
oh, okay, not
Yeah.
because lost somebody, okay.
No, illness and National Guard and
right.
vacations and
Yeah.
so on.
So you're basically staffing day shift and afternoon and.
Well, I don't think we tell people when we're on
Yeah,
shift.
well, okay,
If
okay. you're
everybody's
right.
here, we're covering
Yeah.
as much as we can.
Yeah.
But that's my point is, do we need another officer?
I ain't gonna hide, this is the 5th position. Because it gave us more when it was full. Now, we've been full in 2 years, unfortunately, but when it's full, we had the extra position.
Well, can you equivocally say that if you had that 5th officer, we wouldn't have had these break-ins?
No, I cannot promise you
Right,
anything
yeah.
like that.
Right, yeah. But I agree, I see what you mean about, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be, yeah. All right, any other questions for the chief?
I
No.
just want to say, this is not crime prevention. You're, what you're trying to do here is just to go inform the public,
Mhm.
be smarter, and lock your doors and act like there could be a problem.
Yeah,
This is not utopia anymore, boys.
Yeah, every car hit was unlocked.
Right.
There were no break-ins to any houses, correct?
Nothing. No,
Okay,
no
somebody said that was, I heard that,
No.
and that's, I didn't think
every
that was
car
true.
was unlocked. And that's not just this time, that's every other
Yeah.
time before this too,
'Cause
because
they
they don't
didn't-
want to make noise.
They didn't want to, okay, all
Yeah.
right, thank you. Any other questions? for the chief?
No.
I have a question. Chief,
Yes, sir.
I've heard people remark that they would get their own cameras for their property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If they do, is that footage legally
Yes.
useful to you?
Yes, yes, it is. Matter of fact, we toyed with the idea of our cameras being used. And the problem is, A, I don't know what responsibility we actually take for connecting and what could happen. And B, they eat a lot of internet. That's one thing we're finding out. This weekend, they were eating so much that they were pausing and, but I mean, the information was there, don't get me wrong, but the live feed was harder to watch. So.
Chief, wasn't one of your officers working I'm gonna call it a ring network?
Yeah, we're,
I can't remember what it's
yeah,
called.
we actually, yeah, we started looking at the Ring cameras because they have a network, which actually is kind of good. We're still in the process of looking at it before because there's also a lot of people that are screaming about how it's unfair and unconstitutional and so on. So we're still looking into it. But that actually created a Ring community. And if Matt put a message out there, hey, I had some strange guy at my door, everybody got alert on that. So that is something that
Oh,
is
that'd be
we're
good.
currently looking at.
I would like to give a shout out to Officer Lewis, who came to our house. He was very knowledgeable and courteous and very dedicated. And that goes for all the officers of Hancock.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot, chief. We'll be, like to have you come several times a year if you can, just to give us updates. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Council action, I guess we got a couple people, there was a representative from the farmer's market. We had, as you remember, at the last meeting, they came and asked about putting a building, and that we asked for some drawings. I think there's some time constraints. You want to get back there? Yeah. Come on up, Teresa. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Teresa Van Dessel. I'm the Hancock Farmers Market Manager. Thanks for letting us speak to you again tonight. I'd like to refer to you guys to the email that the market board sent you. And we have a hard copy in front of you guys of the visuals. So I'm just here to answer any questions you might have.
I'm in the receipt of this thing was distributed at the market. How many signatures are on here?
It's over 100.
There's 100 people that just signed that want to keep the market and want to, two things here. They keep the Hancock market located in the downtown district. This is not directly related to your, to the winter market, but, and also, and we had to, and please allocate space in the Queen Street parking lot for a winter market. And there's 100 signatures from people here. If you want to look at it. And I've gotten a fair amount of emails from the same emails. So, you've presented us this, everybody got a copy of this? Yeah, yeah. So, so it's my understanding that you're, there are two different things here. You're just talking about the winter market.
Yes.
That we're not talking about design for Queen Street for the summer market or anything like that. They're talking
That
about
is
property the
correct.
town already owns, that's behind, you can see it's the white where the building would be with the same presentation. It's a prefab type building that would be moved in. This basically
Correct.
set on some, like, what, the same thing that the school, I mean, up that the town owns, is set up, set up on, it's not permanently installed, but, well, it is, but, and there's some time constraints on this.
Yes, we, like many of you know, our vendors, we have many vendors who rely on this for their livelihood. And that's why we would like to have a year-round market to provide that and to also support the town year-round. So that's why we are asking for you to approve this so that we can move forward to have.
Yeah, questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Is this oh, thank you. Is this a building that this space that I see here, is this a building,
Yeah, that's
brick and mortar?
No,
Yes.
No,
What
it's
is it?
it's a
No.
prefab type building. They're gonna
Okay.
bring, and they're
Yes.
gonna make it, they can make it look nicer, with,
Yes, the second page is
Okay, guys, I
visual
got it.
yeah,
of,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the
And so,
prefab
so,
building? Yeah.
so it's removable.
Yeah, it's not gonna be, there's not gonna be any plumbing in it, correct? Or anything? No,
No,
just
no.
probably electric.
Will be very close to the public restrooms, so
Yeah,
that
right.
removes any need for plumbing.
Yeah, there'll probably be some lighting. And
Yes,
that's about it. Yeah.
yes.
And how close is this to the residential?
It
that house
is,
That's right there.
you can see it on the first page where it
Yeah,
is
I really didn't
close.
get a picture there.
Yeah, it's
Where's the Fowler's house is what I'm exactly
way over
talking
here
about.
somewhere. There's a,
Clear house parking lot.
yeah, there's a strip of land here that John Custis owns. And then the parking lot is here and the Fowler's house is way over here.
Okay.
The Playhouse is right, this is the bakery and the Playhouse is, the extra building for the Playhouse is right here. So it's quite a bit. And most of the building is shielded by by the Lilliston building. This is the Lilliston building here. So the half of it is behind that.
It's not, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
the design or anything I'm questioning. It's just a location
Yeah.
for traffic and for the people who live right.
Well, I think
right
one of
there.
the, I think one of the,
And the parking spaces that.
well, it's not using any, it's not
Yeah.
taking up any
Yeah,
parking
right.
spaces. But a lot of
But
people
then-
walk to the market, so, which is, and it's not involved in any of the parking areas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's,
So
One question that I saw in the email that came in today was a comment from the bakery that they need for their large 53-foot trucks to be able still to have access to make deliveries. So, and I wasn't sure from where this is showing, not where the building would be, but where it's showing as lawn and trees, if that would be impacted by, if the deliveries would be impacted by having that area set that way.
Well, I mean, the deliveries would be up. I mean, they're not, the market is way over to away from the bakery. This green section is up to us about what we want, what we want to do with the
Okay.
sidewalk and the green. We could, I mean, that's our property. I mean, I don't know whether the truck could stop out, I mean, the bakery is landlocked basically from the back, correct, man?
No.
No,
Yeah.
we're not.
And you have access to, yeah,
But it's a delivery truck.
through, yeah, but the building is not going to be in your way. It would be where the green, yeah,
Basically, if you put the green where you got it, we're gonna be carrying 100-pound bags of flour.
right.
A good distance, I mean, yeah.
So normally a truck backs across that green area to your door?
It's pavement now, it's gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if the green, so,
If you create a park.
I looked today and I know exactly where your door is. And
Their door will be cut off. It's
yeah,
all-
if we do all of these
I realize the
improvements.
Property lines are like they are. Technically, that building that the town has is landlocked, I do believe. unless-
yes, it is. Yes, yeah,
I mean,
Well, the back.
all work together on this,
yeah.
and,
So if we,
everybody-
so if we didn't plant the green area, that you'd be okay?
Yeah, right.
So the sidewalk is not bothering you?
And I also didn't know, I didn't realize until Dale that, I thought the farmer's market, the whole thing was going there. but I was kind
Oh,
of-
no.
this is just for the winter market. Thank you
Yeah,
for
so if,
clarifying.
let me reiterate again. So the building is not in your way, but the green trees would be a problem.
No, I mean, I'm trying to have a little issue. We've been in town for 45 years. And this has obviously been in the works and.
Right.
It was a nice courtesy if somebody came to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
This is what we're planning. This might affect you.
right. Well, we're in the process of redeveloping Queen Street, and we're going to form a committee that we would certainly like your input into it. But that's going to be the whole thing, not this, the farmer.
And that's
Yeah,
what concerned me. 4 days ago, I got the email. And
Yeah.
looking at the picture,
yeah,
we're like, we're gonna be shut out, not have access to our back door.
yeah.
I mean, that's.
But the design over here is not related to the farmer's market. I mean, it's the town decision to do that. So but we could change that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're specifically talking about the
I'm just
white.
asking for the town to,
Yeah.
we would like to have our delivery entrance.
Yes. But there, but the building where the white building is not going to bother you there. Not at all. Okay, that's my, all right, all right. So this plan doesn't have, the green part doesn't have to be, we can change that if we want to, yeah, or the sidewalk location, yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah.
While we're talking about it, we're talking winter market in this little building, but I got the impression that the farmer's market was going to be on Queen Street. Or that was the hope that it was going to be on Queen Street anyway
Yes.
later. So how will that whole process affect?
Well, we're in the process of, we want to appoint a design committee that we've been talking about this for several months to come up with a plan for Queen
Well, he
Street.
doesn't know.
No, but he's going to be in, well, we haven't designed it yet. Yeah, we're in
Uh,
the process, but the summer market would be different than the winter market. They would not use the
It would
same
be every weekend.
Saturdays, yeah, but not where the winter market is, and in a location somewhere to be determined in that area. Yeah.
We don't know that at all.
There's some preliminary sketches, but we
I
haven't
don't
gone
know
very
what
far.
it is.
Yeah, we haven't decided. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the committee, it's up to council to decide. Yeah. We haven't seen anything on that. Yeah. We haven't got a plan for Queen Street.
And we don't have a committee yet, right?
No, and I'd like to get that, that was our fourth thing on the agenda to get a committee going on that. Yeah. So,
Teresa, I want to thank you. We ask that if you are requesting town funds, you come with a budget and a building plan, and you have done that. And I'm very impressed with these Fraser drawings that we have. And the nice part is, since it was Main Street, there was no charge for these drawings, so that's good. They recommended that that you use painted board and batten siding, standing seam, metal roof, barn style swing doors. I just wasn't crazy about the black and white, but that can be decided later. That
Yes,
I think
mean,
it needs to blend in with the brick buildings that are there a little bit more, because they're
Thank you.
very specific. You know, if Main Street's involved, you cannot change the paint colors once they recommend them. So,
no,
That's not true. That's not true. They recommend them, but we had
and
to,
then they very specifically tell you how you can change.
well,
Yes.
those are recommendations, Joy. They are not anything that Main Street has to do. We certainly made changes to the visitor center.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we tried to blend that in with yeah.
Well, I couldn't begin to read this print. I had to enlarge it on my computer because this is the smallest font I've seen in my life, but
Yeah, this is a concept art, and we definitely, one of our top priorities is to make this attractive for the town.
when do you need to know by?
Well,
You have to order the building, I assume.
yes,
Well, they need to start fundraising.
fundraising
I
for
see.
it.
They can't,
Yes.
they can't fundraise unless they have permission from us to put it in there.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't be until October or November when the building would, but you need
definitely.
permission from us to do that. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, how about the patio design? How's that in the planting and all that?
Well, I think that's a conceptual drawing from them. It's not necessarily set in stone about that. That's our decision. They just,
Well, I mean, I guess you would need a patio in front of your.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if they need that. I don't know if that's a conceptual. I don't know if they need that much. Yeah,
I don't.
That was to make the building more appealing.
yeah, yeah.
And Can I, and Teresa, I would guess that of your vendors that have winter produce, they need to know to plant so that they can grow the produce. And that's
Yes.
one reason that we need to make a decision, is so these people know what to plant and how much.
That is correct.
We don't have a
Yes.
whole Plan for the whole thing yet, so you're asking, now you're gonna do one spot there and that'll be fine, and then you figure out what you're gonna do with the rest of it. That's why we keep flying by the seat of our pants.
That's why we need a strategic plan.
That's exactly.
Well,
what I'm
we're
saying.
looking at we're looking at the rest of this can be somewhat decided by the committee with the plan, but they're just talking about this one building here, and what the rest of the patio and the sidewalk look like can be changed by according to what the town plan comes up with. But, and that could take several
But
months.
So when did we approve actually saying, go ahead and do this? Because.
Well, they're asking
we-
for
we
me.
asked that they present a plan.
Right.
I don't remember saying, you got a deal.
No, that's why they've
Okay,
just
okay,
come back to
that's
us
what
now.
I'm saying.
Right,
Say,
yeah.
Go ahead and approve it now.
Right.
Do it with flying by the seat of your pants.
Any other discussion?
I'm glad to know that Mr. Smith and Corner Bakery will be involved in this and know exactly what it will do to impact your business. Because as you pointed out, if you cut off your rear entrance, those trucks will be parked on Main Street
Yeah, we know.
unloading, and that's not good. Or Market, sorry.
You gotta have the whole plan in front of you.
Any other discussion? All right, do we have a motion to, oh, sure, yeah,
This is on town property, is that correct?
yes, yes,
The town property technically belongs to the taxpayers.
yes.
I'm pretty active in seeing what's been trying to go on, and it's this afternoon at 3 o'clock is the first time I heard about this particular idea. Is it inappropriate to request that the town have a meeting so that the public can understand what is being asked for and has decided?
Well,
Otherwise-
it came up at the last, it was discussed at the last meeting. They made a long presentation about it.
I'm sorry, I did miss that.
Yeah.
But if the rest of the town, or there hasn't been some activity involving other individuals in the town, other taxpayers of the town, will end up in the same situation that we have had with the pavilion at the school, which one thing prevented, consented, and it's a little different than it has been.
Thank you.
I'm asking for public.
All right, any further discussion in here? Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the plan as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I just think we need to get more information and
Okay, well,
I am
what's your-
totally.
What's your vote,
supportive.
please? Yeah.
No.
No, okay, carries 3-2. Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, okay, go on to approve the 2025 budget. That's up, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I can go through the whole thing if you want, but we presented the budget a few different times. It's generally speaking, a 3% increase in water, a 3% increase in personal property, and a 3% increase in real estate taxes. Really no other changes to any other line item. What I do want to make note of is that on page 27, the garbage pickup for the every other month, the verbiage needs to change to $26 for every other month. So there was a typo there. It said per month.
What page?
Every other month. 27, garbage pickup under every other month.
Page 27 is not garbage.
$26 per month.
Are you sure it's 27?
Yes.
Okay, found it.
Did you have a question about the numbers? You were talking to me earlier about the difference between the budget.
Yes. Do you want me to ask that now?
Well, yeah, we're talking about the budget.
Okay, I've been in budget all day, pretty much. In our May 20th Town Council meeting for the 2025 budget, those numbers have changed to this month. That was last month to this month.
I don't know. It would have been helpful if you and I could have worked through this afternoon.
I found this at 5:30. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably.
Are you
not gonna
aware
be-
of that?
No, I'm not, and I probably won't be able to answer you tonight. I just won't. I don't know what the issue is, and I would want to make sure that I research it and calculate everything.
Okay.
What is your question, Joy?
Well, my question is, in comparing the last month's budget to what we're being asked to approve now. For instance, under expenditures,
Well, you got to give us a
I'm
page
on
number.
page 27.
Thank you.
No, my page numbers are cut off. I can't tell. Oh, I have two page 27s.
Well,
It's
we
the
all have
second
two
page
pages,
27.
So you're up at the 2025 table 2.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And now, keep in mind, I'm looking at May Town Council meeting and June Town Council meeting. Under expenditures, there's $500,000.
$577,
Yeah.
$577,060.
Yes.
The amount of the capital.
Explain more, please.
An expenditure includes the CIP. So the difference is the CIP.
So that was not included in May.
The
but-
CIP was included, it wasn't added into the use of reserves and the expenditures.
Okay. Because last month in May, it was 1,670,000. And now in June, it's 2,247,000.
The expenditures include the CIP.
That was my question, what for?
CIP stands for Capital Improvement Plan.
So we approved the CIP at the last, meeting, so it wasn't included until we voted on that. You're talking about the, right, it was all the things we discussed about all the money we were, okay, is that correct? Yeah, because we hadn't discussed that at that time, so he's now moved it into the budget. We approved all of it, yeah.
Still balances to zero.
Yeah.
Use of the reserves.
So you're saying expenditures really didn't go up, it's just including the CIP?
That's because the line above it went from $50,000 up to $634,000 because of the CIP. So we're taking the revenue and the expenses tied to zero, and those both equal the $577,060.
I understand.
Okay.
Why are we raising taxes?
Our costs go up like the rest of everybody else's costs.
So inflation is mainly the reason you're saying.
3.22%.
Right.
3%. We gave employees 2.75% raises.
I thought it was 3% and a 10%. No, I don't have that information.
Okay, any other discussions about the budget, anything? Do we have a motion to approve the budget, the 2025 budget? Somebody want to read that out?
Well,
What,
if I can find the page again.
26.
26 is where the resolution starts.
Yeah, we probably have to read this out.
The whole
Well,
business?
no, we can just adopt the resolution. Yeah, just.
Okay. I move that we adopt the resolution. Let's see, I move the resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2025 budget, fiscal years 2025 to 2029 capital improvement plan, CIP, calendar year 2025 tax rates, and to appropriate funds.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second the motion.
Discussion? All in-
Are there any other towns in or cities that are having tax increases that anybody's aware of? I know Northampton County is going up 5%, but I've not heard of any other towns, and I've been asking and looking. I haven't found any.
Incorporated towns, Cape Charles went down because they sold their utility plant and they paid off their debt.
Cape
So
Charles's
that's why
tax
we
rate
did
is
that.
actually lower than ours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Chincoteague also stayed the same.
Same.
But their tot is increasing because of all
Sure.
the new.
Yeah.
They're gonna have $2.1 million in tot, where our entire budget is about that.
Well, Mr. Eddie Corbett, I think it was, from Chandler Street, came in and spoke at the last public hearing. And it wasn't included in the minutes, but he said, this is really difficult for people on a fixed income. And we're not going to notice it. We'll just pay it. And I'd say most of us out here wouldn't either. We'll just pay it. But for people who live on a fixed income, it's difficult. I've had people tell me they're choosing between paying their water, getting their medicine, so on, so on. And, we can say it's inflation. Well, we're all feeling that, but we're not getting more revenue, so.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay. What is it? 4-1? Thank you. All righty. The other thing the new thing is the committee for the design of Queen Street. I think we wanted to get the stakeholders and we need a representative from the town here.
I'll do it.
We could have 2 people from the council if you want to. Yeah, and we should.
I had also wanted to do it simply because I've been involved with the visitor center.
Yeah.
I think Ray brings a lot of experience.
Well, we got a lot of people. I mean, we can have as many. I mean,
Still do that,
it's up to council. Yeah, if you want to. And I think we're looking at stakeholders. We're going to, definitely the Lawson building owners, correct? The bakery, we could, what about, the, bank building? Tony, yeah, I mean, I mean, yeah, this is sort of an informal committee, but I think we need, I don't know what homeowners were talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we'll hopefully get a, a consultant, involved with it as well, engineering, conceptual. It's up to, that's count, it's not my decision about who, council,
I think anybody who's affected by this
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
should be-
Yeah.
Should be involved.
Yeah.
No limit.
Well, it's an advisory committee that's going to report back to the council, and if, and I think,
You can
yeah.
wheel down later, but you need to have everybody aware.
We definitely need some professional help from, getting, we're not going to do conceptual drawings, so we need to get, along with what Solomon and possibly getting, Main Street or Fraser to help us with some conceptual drawings if they want to do that, I think we need to get.
I think we need an independent somebody, but Main Street has a stake in this too.
Well-
So,
well,
why
they-
don't you have didn't you just pay somebody to give you a whole plan for that?
Yeah, we just got our topographical survey. That's gonna go to the Solemn Engineering firm. He'll be able to give us, flow of stormwater and things like that, so that when,
Everything.
and he also has a parking lot designer on staff. So he can give us a rough start of where we are, and then if we want to invite, concept drawings, I'm not exactly sure what they would concept, given the fact that the lines are already drawn, but
Well, we're looking
I
at,
think that's
traffic.
where
Yeah.
traffic flow, I think, stormwater management, I think landscaping, I think our lighting plan, all of those things are, I think, really important for the committee to decide. But as far as, drawing a pretty picture of grasses coming out of an island doesn't, I'm not
Well,
exactly.
I think we also need space for the farmer's market.
But we've already talked about where the farmer's market's gonna go. We had 6 people sitting around the table that all agreed that it was a really great spot. That's why I was so surprised to see the emails to say, that we were moving into the school. We're all sitting-
No, nobody was saying that.
I don't know anything
Well,
about
you
that.
got the same emails.
I know, but the
did.
farmer's market people weren't saying that. The school wasn't saying that. That's in the rumors. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's water off the table. Yeah, right. Yeah, water over the dam. Yeah.
So that design has already been done. It's a really cool use of around the oak tree for everybody, and then the back end spots for the vendors who use their trucks.
And I think we can
See, it would've
credit
been-
Hill Studios with
Well,
that.
can we, so we,
That's kind of drawing on.
well, I
on
think
the
the
fly.
committee can decide if they want, who they want to bring in to help. So we don't need to make that decision correct right now. Yeah.
I'm just not sure what you're expecting of the committee.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like.
Excuse me.
Who's the committee? Is the committee a small group and then you're going to have a public meeting with input from all the different stakeholders? I don't, it sounds
it's-
like a very confused process right now.
I
don't think it is, because I think that everybody needs to be informed, and the information is what's been lacking in all of these things, and letting people know, all the people who would be affected by it are invited to find out or see what the ideas are, and there's already a plan, you said, for the whole Queen Street. Well, I know what you're saying, Mavis, but what I'm saying is that really, before you presented a conceptual drawing, you should probably folks should have communicated with all the stakeholders prior to that time.
well, they've had a meeting. Yeah.
To
Yeah.
have some sense about what their particular concerns were, such as the truck, being able to unload, right?
Right.
So, that's what I'm talking about, having that kind of meeting so that all the stakeholders can present what their questions might be before we get into saying this is going to be here and this is going to be there.
Okay, so that's prior to conceptual drawings.
Right, just, okay, everybody, just information sharing is
Well,
basically.
we have a
what I'm
conceptual
saying.
drawing that was sort of given to us
But
a while
it
ago.
doesn't-
Yeah, but that's just a starting
Conceptual
point.
drawing
Yeah.
doesn't mean
Right,
anything.
exactly. Yeah, right. But I'm just saying that's a starting.
So what you're talking
involve some people from town council and some people from the community. And then that group is going to have a larger meeting with all the stakeholders, and then they will prepare recommendations. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, somewhat, yeah.
Matt,
Well, they'd focus it, yeah, I think they
it's
would,
like a focus group when you do.
right,
that.
yeah, they would probably go through, the engineer or the consultant to come up with a smaller group would get involved with the actual details. We're not going to have every stakeholder coming in every meeting to,
Oh, it's just the first one.
yeah, the first one, yeah, then we'd focus in, with design like we did with the building. We don't want, you can't have 20 people designing a parking lot build, but we need to get their input, and then the smaller committee would design it and bring it back to council. Yeah.
Does VDOT have any say in this at all?
No.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
thank you.
So, yeah, so I think we'll work on getting a time to meet in the next few weeks. We got a lot of stakeholders, and some people really need to be there. So we need to make, it's going to be a little bit of a,
By inviting everybody, send out a
Yeah.
formal invitation to put their input.
yeah, but we got some, the Littleton building where people are critical, they own property, we need to definitely get them, they need to be available. And farmers market people, town people, Matt, okay. All right, so we're agreed on that, and we don't need to vote on that.
What are we agreeing on?
We're going to have this, we're going to have a stakeholders meeting, basically, with a group of people, time to be decided to discuss input, and then probably narrow the committee down after that with more of the experts looking at it and come back with recommendations to the council.
How will the stakeholders be invited?
We'll send them a letter or email, talk to them in person. I can talk to them. Yeah. I'll go talk to the people. We don't have that many, or Matt can talk to them. Yeah. You know who they are. Yeah. Excuse me a second.
Attached to that area, because the businesses, especially on busy weekends, have no place for their clients and their customers to park.
Well, we're gonna not, we're trying to build a nicer parking lot. Yeah.
But the thing is, we are also stakeholders.
Well, I understand. Yeah. And the plan will come back to council. You'll get a chance to weigh in on it. Yeah. And you can come to these, we're not going to close the meeting. So, yeah, we can't legally do that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Any other council action? You want to bring that up? Approve the budget. Council discussion, none. Committee reports, personnel.
The Personnel Committee did meet in June and talked about a new police report that's going to Matt from the police department staff, and just discuss that. That was it.
Main Street, you're back on soon?
Main Street is planning to come and make a presentation in July. They're planning to make a semi-annual presentation instead of just an annual one to bring everyone up to date. So that will occur at the next meeting. And I'm sure most of you know, but Lisa lost her father. So Main Street has kind of had a rest period here to allow Lisa to attend her family business and give our condolences to her and her family.
Okay. Historic and Hancock School.
Thank you. The school has been added to several new maps recently. There's a Bring Fido app, which lists great places to bring your dog. There's a UDisc app that lists the school as a disc golf course destination. And the Playground Buddy app lets people know about the playground facilities. And a question, is the Northeast Playground on the Playground Buddy? And if not, should it be?
I haven't put it there because I didn't know it existed.
Okay.
Is the dog park on Bring Fido?
Yes.
The second annual Blooms and Brushes Garden and Studio Tour was well attended on Saturday, June 8th, with over 100 tickets sold. It was a beautiful day. Local artists were in the gardens painting, and a wet paint silent auction took place in the gallery after the event. There were also beautiful flower arrangements donated by Yakima Garden Club and Academy for Lifetime Learning up for silent auction. And 6 houses in Mount Prospect were featured on this year's tour. Wine Wednesdays continue to happen on the first Wednesday of the month from 5 to 7. The next one is July 3rd. which overlaps with the beginning of the OBCA's annual ice cream social that begins at 5:30, also at the school this year. So that's going to be a busy Wednesday. Come get your wine and then come get your ice cream. Pavilion construction is ongoing as our fundraising efforts. Any
questions about the school? No questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Planning Commission, Matt, we just had the meeting. Anything, we know what's going on with them? Okay, all right, okay. Waterfront, Teely's not here. They're,
Really, it was just about how we're doing opening the season, how our slip nights are. Charles saved us just a bucket of money on the pump out station by going and buying the diaphragms that we needed to fix it, rather than having to spend $18,000 on a new one. So that was a really important savings there. He did a super job. The young people that we've got are getting rave reviews on weekends. So, we've got good staff. We've got, we're down a little bit in number of reservations, but we're working on it.
any other questions about the Waterfront Committee? Okay. EDA?
The Anancock EDA did not meet.
Okay. All right, public comment. Was there a public comment sign up? I didn't see. Yeah, she's gone, yeah. There's a 3-minute limit here, but only 3 people signed up, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Rosemary Papero?
I didn't realize that you had to sign.
No, I'll get you after. We'll call. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. I'll go through the list and I'll.
Here I am again. I always feel like a bad penny. But as you know, I think the county approved Coastal Squares development off Fairgrounds Road last Thursday, June 20th, and I support that development. However, as you know, I have serious questions about Onancock's ability to provide it with water. Interestingly, before the meeting, Chris Carbow, the developer, and Mr. Panbid from the county were overheard to say, Matt really came through for us. He's our man. There would have been no approval without his letter. That's the January 22nd letter, which I had sent to all of you on April 19th. And all we have to do is connect to a line on Fairgrounds Road. Now, you may recall that Matt's letter was presented to the county some hours before the January 22nd meeting, at which time he said the reason for his application to the DEQ for increased water was because they're building 21 houses on the former carnival grounds and a few other houses throughout the neighborhoods. This was deliberately misleading from my perspective, as his application was to supply 1,000 homes beyond town limits. Now, this may all work out fine for the town. I don't know, but I don't think anybody in this room is a hydrologist or a water engineer. So we don't know the effect that this is going to have on the town's water. We already know that the DEQ has actually brought down the gallons that Purdue can extract because there's ground sediment. We also know that there's saltwater intrusion into at least one well in Cape Charles and a number of wells on Seaside. Our wells are much closer to the bay than anything along the spine of the peninsula. So we have real risks. And, you know, my pet peeve is that we spent $60,000 for Hill Studios to count parking spaces and recommend streetlights, but we haven't spent a dime on seeing what this effect is going to have. Maybe it'll cost us nothing. Maybe it'll be a real boom for the town and we'll end up paying $2.75 for water instead of a couple $100 every bill. But we don't know that, and you don't know that. And I think that the studies should have been done by qualified individuals to determine what that effect was going to be. I think that Fletcher, you had said at one point that the town manager, whoever it is, has the right to enter contracts. Usually with most municipalities, those are quotidian contracts for regular service and maintenance. It's not a contract to establish the town as a major water authority for the surrounding community, for the areas outside of the town.
3 minutes over. Thank you.
Matt, I just have one more thing. Matt said to me at one point, not long ago, with respect to the pavilion, that ship has sailed. And you might say the same thing about this, but that's the same thing they said at Southampton when the Titanic went out.
Thank you for your
So you
comments.
don't know.
Casey Greer.
I'm not talking about water, but I concur with Rosemary's concerns, although I'm in support of the development. So my name is Casey Greer. I live at 74 Market Street, and I'm a citizen of Onancock, a taxpayer and a voter. A few months ago, during the public part of the town's budgeting process, Matt gave a presentation to make the case for the small size of the proposed property taxes and other tax increases. As I listened to it, I thought about how this was actually a small step forward in communicating with the citizens of Onancock during the budget process. But in the throes of public comment, this wasn't the time to proffer this idea. As part of this, what I'm hoping is an initiative towards greater transparency in all of our processes. I propose that each year during the budget cycle, the town council require the town manager to put together and present at a council meeting an overview of the proposed town budget and the town's financial position, including existing bond debt and assets and encumbered grant funds. Now, this is not a long budget document, right? That's a lot for people to absorb, but I think they're entitled to know what the basics are of the budget, right? The town runs a lean, careful budget, but there are these sort of areas that I think people don't understand very well, including bond debt, other kinds of encumbrances. And I just think that an education process would be really helpful and would prevent a lot of the concerns that were expressed during this process. For one thing, it would help us understand how the town meets its obligations and plans for future expenditures and where our own wish lists might fit into the bigger picture. The budget's a lengthy document and it's not easy to interpret even as it sets the direction of the town. For a lot of people, it's a tough read. But a live presentation would also open the door to a more useful conversation than the set of public comments we had in favor of assorted pet projects. We could ask questions and get information on the spot. This small step would be an important move towards greater transparency in how official business is conducted in our town. It would help to squelch rumors and encourage citizens to see how their particular interests fit into the process of allocating resources. Finally, I just feel like this could be done prior to the public content period so that people would be coming in with a baseline of shared information. Because even if you're reading the budget alone, you're not going to get the same, each individual is not going to get the same kind of information out of it. So this is for public education.
Thank you.
And I've got one other thing, but I'll bring it to you next month.
Thank you. Mrs. Matthews, Hermine, oh, there you go.
Good evening. My name is Hermine. I live on Abundant Street. And I come today, this evening to ask about a camera. They put a camera, but it's at the end of Abundant Street. I live in the curve. And that's why all the action takes place, because the people run from those apartment buildings through that playground and they come in that curve where, and that's where the shooting took place the last time. They shot through my house. My neighbor has a hole in the side of his house right now, this size, where they shot through his house. And just the other night, I was asleep, and about 12:38, a car came and parked right in that curb by my house. Somebody not knowing could have been after that person and thinking that person was in my house. So we need a camera there in that curve of Abundant Street. Thank you.
Could you get together with the town manager? And okay, thank you. I'm not sure exactly where the geographic is. All right, anybody didn't, oh, go ahead. I mean, he's gonna ask me.
Yeah, I'm Jay Miller, 79 Market Street, down in Hancock. It would appear that my wife and I are late to the party about the disastrous condo development going on down the end of Market Street. I'm surprised to hear that the town is just rolling over for the developer and have no particular details. I mean, I looked in the archives. I didn't see any information in any of the archives having to do with the town meetings or anything else, where there was even any discussion about the infrastructure and the other impact that this place is going to have. In effect, you're doubling the number of people in Hancock. And
I'm sorry, are you talking about the development out on
Yes.
Fairgrounds Road?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, I just want to,
But it doesn't seem to be that anybody's concerned or even involved with any of the details as to, what the first lady said about the water. There's water, there's the sewers, there's the traffic. And apparently nobody in this room has driven to Virginia Beach lately and see what happens when you have uncontrolled development in a scale like this, for in our particular area. Now, in the overall scheme of things, this particular development is probably not a large one for Virginia Beach, but it's a disaster for us because it's doubling the size, and nobody is being affected except this town. And when this is built out, and when everybody tries to get in their car, and you're 100 cars behind trying to get out onto Route 13, when you're trying to get down the Fairgrounds Road through Tasley, and there's a massive traffic jam there too, because there's going to be 800 cars coming from this development. There's going to be 800 kids. They're all going to have kids. They're all going to have to go to school somewhere. Everybody talk about what the effect that's going to have, and so on and so on. It's the typical development disasters. And not only that, but once you roll over for a guy like this, then the next one comes in and he uses the same details. And believe me, this is what we tried to escape from. We moved here from New Jersey, and I'm getting incensed, and I'm sorry that I'm raising my voice, but we moved here because I would suggest that anybody go onto Google Map, and we're from South Brunswick, New Jersey, and North Brunswick, New Jersey. You go on Google Map and you get a satellite view, and you look to see what was once farmland. When we moved there to the South Brunswick, when we first got married, there was nothing there. And now just take a look at it. And then this is what's going to happen. So I'd like some feedback, anybody concerned, or what, the town is involved, the town's not involved.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Thank you. Time's up.
I guess not. Okay.
Okay. No, we got a couple issues we're going to comment on here. The mayor's report, I can actually comment on your comments right now. I did go to the public hearing for the county, 3 nights ago. At the development is in the county. We don't have any input in. We don't have any input into it. It's a county. It's not a town of an Hancock project. So they're not going to. We have absolutely no control over county property. So even if we didn't like it, there's nothing we can do about it. It's a county project. I went to the public hearing. No one spoke against it in the county. No one.
That was only one public hearing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But well, that was excuse me. That was the public hearing where they voted on it. So if you wanted to oppose it, so anyway, no one spoke again. I'm not saying whether, and so my big point is it was in the county. And the only thing, and the water issue, Matt is going to discuss later he's got some comments about that, but we don't have any control over what the county does. And I sympathize with you coming from an area.
I'm sympathizing with the town because
Yeah.
you all are going to get affected. by
Yeah, but you're talking to the wrong group of people. The supervisors should have been, they're the ones, and they voted unanimously to support this. Yeah. Yeah.
But on something this grander scale.
Right.
That was it. There was just the one, hello, I mean.
No, there was like there was 4 or 5, there were 3 or 4 public hearings for the planning commission. There were, so they're for the county. Yeah.
And this was published.
Yes, it was it's been going on since January. This is not a secret. It's been in the papers, public hearings after public hearing about it. Yeah. And it's a county. I mean, I agree with you. It's not it's not in the incorporated town of Anancock. So we have absolutely nothing to say about it. And it's a designated, what do they call it? The village, something. Yeah. Yeah. There's a huge housing problem on the Eastern Shore. They were motivated by that to create more housing. Wallops doesn't have enough housing.
I read this guy's, the
Yeah.
details of
Yeah.
the lawsuit that he had before.
Yes, yeah.
And that's typical development.
Well, I don't want to get in a back and forth with you. Yeah, but I understand. The bottom line is that we had no control over this, and I sympathize with you.
But there's got to be some sort of recourse. This can't be just bulldoze over the.
If you want, you can take it to court. They sued, take it to court. But we don't have any recourse. It's not in our property. We're not a stakeholder in this.
We have no standing.
Yeah, we have no standing. The school situation, there were, the county did a huge study. There's no issues with, school children. They're not going to be, the traffic problem, they're looking at 2 entrances. They had 18 different, restrictions on what they were going to do with it. So the bottom line is it was not a town decision. So I'm sorry you're upset, but there's nothing, I don't see what we could have done about it. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, no one spoke against it in the whole county. I sat there, I was thinking there'd be 100 people showing up and say, hey, this is not a good idea.
Were you at both of the hearings?
Yeah, I was at the other ones. There weren't there were people, but they were, but no, that wasn't the vote. That was just, yeah. So,
No one spoke against it.
I'm talking about the hearing I was at. Yeah, but yeah.
There were a few hearings.
But you were at yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Maybe the gentleman should know that if you look at the Eastern Shore every week, in the back of the post, they have legal notices. That's what you need to look at.
Yeah.
See what hearings are coming up for what purpose. And that's really the only place to see the.
Yeah, I think the concern for us is, I think, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt here, and I don't really have any comments, is that there's concern, the water concern is concern, and I think you can, at your town manager's report, can you enlighten us on that before you get into the rest of it? Yeah, thank you.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Well, we talked briefly about the water. There were, DEQ published a request for, they solicited people to find out if there was enough interest for a public hearing regarding the application for an increase in groundwater withdrawal. There was not. There were 8 people who wrote to the DEQ. They required, based on our size, a minimum of 25 people. So they did not justify a public hearing. After they read the technical report that was prepared by a geologist, not the town, a geologist that we retained, wrote the report that the DEQ used to issue our new permit. Our new permit has been issued at 120 million gallons a year. That does include the new Commonwealth facility. There's going to be 40 new independent living homes. They've gone through their refinancing at that point. I think I notified you by email about that. So they're once again entering the phase. I also sent you via email the application that we require all non-town subdivisions to use for tying into our water. Once they complete that application, which is not an easy application, it includes site plans, it includes infrastructure plans, it includes sprinkler systems and fire hydrants and number of connections. It's a complicated application that they'll have to complete. Once they complete that application, that'll be brought to you for approval. once you approve or deny that, that would be the point at which we would determine that they can tie into our system. The tying into our system will not cost the town any money. I don't want to say any, that's a big word, but the developer is responsible for hooking up and providing all infrastructure connectivity for this development. So there's no town financial responsibility. We also remember that you voted on an increased rate for out-of-town water users. That plus the size of the development, the volume, the only way we can reduce the cost of water to our residents is by adding volume. That is the only thing. Our bonds are at 0%. We're not going any lower on that. We're staffed at 1. We're not going any lower than that. So at some point, if we want to help those people who are on fixed income, who are on low to moderate income, in our low to moderate income housing units, we have to add volume. If we don't add volume, our costs are going to continue to increase year over year over year. So if you want to help the people who need the help, we need to add more volume. If we can add more volume without adding capital expenditures or debt, that is a pretty good situation to be in. So DEQ has given us the volume if you choose to allow them to tie into it. The letter that I wrote said that we would be interested in providing water if we had capacity and quantity. That's what DEQ came back and said. Yes.
I was asking before you.
Yep.
If these new developments don't tie into our system, what is the alternative? And what is the danger of that if they set up their own water?
I think first of all, that would be a very expensive proposition for them. It would probably, in all likelihood, kill the project because they would have to build a system very similar to ours.
But just pumping into the aquifers is more than that.
Pulling water from the exact same aquifer.
And so there's no difference in that except that we have control and health issues that we can handle and know about if the water's coming through our system.
Right, and also remember we can help people.
The clarification, they did not approve, they only approved 400 some units, correct?
They approved 435, something.
Right.
65.
Yeah, 465.
Their first phase is 140, I believe.
Right,
And that's going to keep it under the point where they'll have to put the
second
entrance in.
Right, yeah.
I have a question. In reading the DEQ report, it seemed to me that the issue could be water quality for us, the saline
If we decide to
intrusion.
move forward after the application, I'm going to have the geologist come and talk with all of us because I am not one. I don't play one on TV. That was a very dense read. If you remember the technical report, that was a tough read. So I want him to come down and talk with us about, what impact is there. We already have Systems East who's counseled the Department of Health to tell us what our equipment will handle, and that's 600,000 gallons a day. Now that's about 291 million gallons a year. 120 million is less than half of that. So our equipment is sufficient to handle double what our permit is. And our permit is designed for 15 years. So that's looking at what if they build a development over by the hospital in that farmland? What if they put, the full 400 houses, and then rumor is that also might buy the airport and put houses there. What if the 40 units over at the over at the Commonwealth. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. This is a 15-year permit. This isn't a 15-day permit. So, if we were to service those 140 units, it's not going to put a dent in what we can pull, what we're allowed to pull, and what our equipment will manage.
But we don't have equipment that takes care of salinity. And I would be interested in knowing, just, in case it happened,
Yeah, again,
what
have
it
to
would
defer
cost.
that- I would have to defer that to the.
And he's willing to come down and talk.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
We just have to schedule the time. We just have to schedule the time. He comes and does evening meetings for ANPDC, and he's on the groundwater withdrawal permit for the county as well. So he's down here a bit.
Will this be a public meeting?
Yes.
So we have not gotten any, has the developer started the paperwork with us for this?
No,
Okay.
I sent you the application just
Right,
to
yeah.
show you what they would have to provide.
Right, yeah.
And I haven't gotten back to Chris yet to find out.
All right.
Like I say, though, it is a complicated application. It's not going to take them a week to do it.
Right.
It's going to take them a good long time because it requires full site plans.
Right, okay. All right, you want to segue into the rest of your manager's
Well,
report?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that who is the somebody who said our equipment can handle this?
Systems East is the company that handles all of our controls.
Okay.
They're the company that's putting in a new control panel. If you remember correctly, we had that power surge.
Yeah.
Several months ago, and we're having that you approve that the panel get replaced. So that's happening. They're the ones that handle all of that.
The geologist that you would bring in from the DEQ,
No, he's not from the DEQ. He's an independent geologist.
Arcadia or something. Yeah. Okay. So that would look at basically the aquifer and your concern of, salinity and things like that happening. But an engineer would look at our infrastructure in the town and say, yes, you can double the water that you are currently providing. And this is what your infrastructure would need in order to do so. That's what I would
That's
like
why
to know.
I'm confused about your question because we're not doubling what's being used in town.
400.
And What's that?
It's
No,
been
we're not-
400 homes.
That would be 50% increase. We're not
Currently
we're not doing
750.
anything to the town's infrastructure. We have a 300,000 gallon gravity.
Our water plant, our water plant,
That's
our
what I
tower.
was just saying. Systems East told the Department of Health that our water plant has the capacity to pump 600,000 gallons a day. That's 291 million gallons a year, which is more than double what DEQ is allowing for us to withdraw. And we have Systems East who's already done all of that evaluation to make sure that our equipment is suitable to pump that volume.
And the
Lisa,
reason.
excuse me, I wasn't done. Lisa, I'm gonna call on your memory. We had, when I first came on council 6 years ago, was it Douglas Ravel or something like that, that did a water study for the town and
Rate study.
rate study, right?
Not specific to, at that time, I think, what our capacity could be.
And that's why we kept raising the water rates, is because they said that we had to raise them so much every year in order.
It wasn't just their recommendation, it's just good best practices for maintaining your system.
Right. And Michelle Gowdy from VML has referred to recommendations of somebody who could look at this.
What I was going to say was the reason that the capacity of the equipment is so much more than is in use now is that when the current water system was spec'd out, it was spec'd out with the expectation of future development and the desire to accommodate it. So that's why we're in the position that we're in. Where,
Just as our sewage plant was.
Yes.
Also.
yeah.
This too, the water system was
Yeah.
set up for this.
Yeah, it's a fairly new, it's a 10-year-old, how old is it, 10 years, 12, 15-year-old? Yeah, it's not an old system at all. It's, and half the lines are brand new. So Yeah.
Every test that could have been run was run. Every scenario
Special term.
of increased volume was thrown into the equation.
All right.
And we are sitting in the catbird seat for growth. But we were
If
in
you
the-
like
wait,
growth.
wait. We were sitting in the debt seat when we did it. Now we're in a good seat.
All right, let's go. You want to move on to your rest of your report, Lincoln?
Yeah, I'll touch on the IRF, the Williston building. They're going to be looking at getting their certificate of occupancy for the Realtor's office within the next week. So that's just a housing issue that they're concerned with. But we also, we just got the second reimbursement from DHCD, so we'll be able to get to loan them. The EDA will be able to loan them another $288,000. That brings them up to right around $600,000 that they've borrowed at this point. So they'll continue to do that. Sunset Patio is the pavers got selected. The program is out to bid. The project rather is out to bid. I haven't gotten anything back yet, but it's not due until the 28th. So.
Can you give an update on the police and the visitor center?
Oh, the police department, and yeah, that's fine. The visitor center is, the floor is down, the drop ceiling is, the framing is in, the ductwork, the insulated ductwork for the HVAC is in. The bathrooms, the tile is in. I think that larger tile looks amazing. So the floor's in, it's painted, the tiles are up, the HVAC unit is up. They've got to run a little bit more electricity. But generally speaking, that one's coming along pretty well. I teased him about, beating his budget for time, and he assured me that there was no possibility of that. So it's still looking at mid-August. Next door at the police department, that one is, they got their electrical permit. Now they've got their sheet rock going up. If you remember, it's all cinder block in there. So they're putting furring strips up and then attaching to that. The sheet rock's going up. It's once that happens, it always really starts to take shape. So it's taking shape next door. Yeah, those two things are working real well.
Yeah, I mean, the building's open a lot of days if you want to walk through and the council, walk in and look at it.
Yeah, council, please.
Yeah, because they're working on it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You got others, or we just you want to take questions?
Yeah, I'll take questions at this point because I don't. Yeah.
Ray, do you have anything? Let's go around the.
Are these questions for Matt?
Yeah, manager's report. Anything?
Yeah,
town
on the
operations.
ARPA, we still have the $20,000 allocated to Little League, which needs to come off and.
It's actually moved up
Yeah.
top and there's a line next to it.
Yeah.
That also says $20,000, so it should be $40,000 for upstairs HVAC. And I'm probably gonna call a couple of the larger local HVAC companies to give us a bid.
Get some estimates. The potholes, I imagine you've gotten quite a few texts on the potholes.
Well, we fixed after the folks texted me pothole. I think I didn't fix any of them. Fixed like 9. I saw one more that somebody needed to text me. I just happened to be driving by and so those are the things that we can fix those until next year when we fix them again and everybody texts me pothole.
Well, that's what happened to me. I was on Watson Street and hit on my bike and hit a pothole, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
Just
those
like,
are the things
this
that
was it was small, but it was so deep. And so the next morning I saw Terry and his partner, and I asked him for the text number and he said he didn't know it. So I told him where the pothole was. The next morning, it had been patched. So a shout out to those guys. They did good.
Any other questions for Matt?
I do.
We're going around this way
Oh,
first.
okay, sorry.
On the downtown visual improvements
Yes,
that you're waiting for council decision,
yes.
and you've been waiting for that for a number of months, and I personally have no clue what decision you're waiting for.
Well,
Thank you.
we picked the streetlights, we picked that was designed, that 35,000 was designed for new garbage cans and benches. So if I could say that's the decision I'm looking for, it would be garbage cans, benches, and one other thing. Send you the.
I don't think we don't want to do
flowers.
No flowers.
Can't maintain them.
I'll
Well,
let you know.
okay.
The casual, not casual corner, casual boutique furniture.
Oh, benches.
Yeah, the benches.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So where they are, who they are, the garbage cans are probably going to be the biggest expense. And then, planters was the other, if we wanted to put town planters.
And
Was it around the oak tree? Were
Well, we
those the
talked
ones?
about- We talked about putting a bench around the oak tree, like, the old time where you see those. It's not gonna grow any wider, so I think it'd be fine, and I think it would be interesting at the farmer's market, if that's where it ends up, to have that.
So we could, that would be part of the design plan, yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
That oak tree, every time I drive by it, there's another little branch or big branch down. And it's old
Yeah.
and fragile. And I wouldn't put a bench under there to save my life.
Well, I wouldn't, there is some rot on the inside of the branches. We do know that. The tree's been, when I got that grant from the forestry a few years ago, they were able to, we were able to pay for cabling of that big branch. We were able to get lightning protection for her. We were able to get Simpsons to come in and give her the feeding and fertilizing that she needs.
Taking away all the gravel.
We removed all the cement, all that, and, we put all of that.
But you know what?
mulch
She's
down.
still an old feeble lady.
Yeah.
She's about 225 years old now, so.
Yeah.
So I just.
We're gonna keep fighting for her. Let's
We'll
put it
keep
that
fighting
way.
for her, but don't put me in harm's way.
All right, any?
I've got one more.
Yeah,
The town website, Matt has heard my concerns for quite a bit, long time, as have the rest of you. And I don't, unless you really want to hear them, I could list my concerns at the moment, but I did notice that there are ADA compliance issues with the site. There was also some text copied from the Main Street site. And so I personally think that we need a professional that can clean up our site and keep it maintained. Matt has neither the time nor the expertise to do it.
To say, go find somebody. Was on, you said that on
It's
the.
not in the budget. Yes, I
when you-
have.
when
I've
you
said-
put
I've
it out
said I
there.
will step back from this project happily and gladly, but the issue is that somebody who comes in to manage content needs to know the town. So somebody from Norfolk who knows how to do WordPress is
But
just gonna be keeping me on the phone. trying to find out
typically,
what
they
right-
get emails from people saying, update this, once the updating is finished, but the business page needs to be cleaned up. I've gotten complaints from people whose houses are listed as businesses. They don't
I
want
get that.
visitors.
And like I said, that page, the visitors page, is still under construction.
And you don't have time to deal with it.
I'm working on it.
Well,
But do you
But
want
if
a
you-
budget?
If you have a suggestion for who to get, when to get, and how to pay them, like I said, I'll step back gladly from this project.
Well, I don't
because
think who is a
honestly,
problem because we get emails practically every day from somebody volunteering to do this.
Yeah, well, I do too.
Yeah.
And I
Whether
think
they're
that
From a foreign land.
the people that Cape Charles hired seem to specialize in government sites. And they would seem to me a good choice to at least contact and see what they would charge.
That's fine. It's just, we didn't put it in the budget.
I understand,
we're-
but we
we're
don't know
six
if we can
days.
afford it until we find out a cost. And we also don't know the cost if we're brought up with an ADA compliance issue.
So do you want to do we want to have a little get together and talk about, I mean, a couple people to talk with Matt about, I mean, you have come up with some ideas and brainstorm about what you want to do?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody else? No. We can only have one other council member there. So if somebody wants to get together, the three of you get together with Matt and come up, see if there's alternatives to this or, you know. I mean, I think he's kind of working on sort of been working on your own. You haven't had too much to, yeah. So does anybody want to help with Cindy? Anybody jumping in?
Okay.
I'm not a website.
Not my area of expertise. I've never written a website.
All right, well, the two, if you can get together at some point, see if you can come up with some suggestion that help us with this, yeah.
Okay.
Whether it's professional help or, you know, or whatever you want.
And give us a price.
Yeah,
of-
yeah,
Yeah.
just to move it forward here. All right, you have questions for Matt? Do you have anything else, by the way? I'm sorry.
And it's not in the manager report, but the mosquito sprayer issue, Matt had asked.
Oh,
for
yeah,
guidance from
yeah,
us.
oh, yeah.
And
My opinion is clear. I think that town council needs to tell our community that we spray for mosquitoes.
Yes.
And, you know, we're not going to turn it off every third house because somebody is either philosophically opposed or thinks that we're going to kill all the butterflies.
Well, do you want, do
Well,
you
you
need,
are.
But we're not, and that's a mistake.
well, do we want
Okay,
to,
so explain that, please. Why?
let's,
The primary ingredient in the
Prometheums.
use is chrysanthemum.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's an adulticide. It doesn't go after the larva. It doesn't harm butterflies or other pollinators. It just simply doesn't. I've sent the manufacturer's information. Anybody that wants it, I send it. It's no problem for me to do that. But if it doesn't affect those folks, those pollinators, and, you know, I'm going to call you out on this one. Your neighbor, Cindy's neighbor in her back behind her garden would like for us not to spray. So we don't, you know, we just stop the machine and go. And then Cindy's backyard is negatively affected by that because she's a neighbor and gets killed.
Well, also-
The person across the street that just built a very nice patio outside can't use it because in his words, every mosquito in town is there because we don't spray around her house. So.
Which includes 2 streets
Right. And
that are
then-
not sprayed.
Right, and then we've got another person who doesn't want to have spray because they keep bees. And that's a perfectly valid, concern, even though this product doesn't harm bees. If you have an apiary, it's something that you care deeply for. So my suggestion is, if you're following the Virginia State Bee Association, swear to God, best practices for your hive location and management, you know, that it's so far from the street, it's so far from your neighbors, it's so far from this, that we would, at that point, turn the sprayer off at your house, no problem. So that's what we're trying to do, because we do get people who, and she, you know, Cindy's not alone. I get calls that are sitting there like, why, oh, why is he turning this thing off when he gets to my house?
well, I'm a little confused. You just said you would turn it off for a beekeeper,
I think that's a fair thing.
but then it's not going to be the next door neighbor's going to get turned off. So I mean, you can't.
I agree with you.
Yeah, maybe we need so you want a policy from the council? All right, and is there one, can you write a policy for us and present it to us at the next meeting? We get public input into it?
Is it a policy that says we spray?
Well, I would start with that, yes.
These times on these days.
Yes, and we don't make exceptions, yeah. Well, you can start with that and then we can weigh in on, and we'll see what
Can I-
public comment.
Can I make a suggestion that you also put the onus on the person that wants the exception that they have to get the consent of everyone else that would be affected by an exception.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's start with
Good
just
luck with that.
let's say with a
Yeah.
policy, and then if people object to, if the majority of people don't want us to, I mean, this is not a new situation. A lot of towns go through this. A lot of people want to spray, some people don't want to spray. So this is not we're not reinventing the wheel here, but we do need a policy. Yeah, right. We don't want people coming down with dengue fever or something like that. But anyway, let's come up with a policy that we can bring back to put it on the agenda. People can come in, talk to us and see what and voice their opinion. And thank you. Okay. Anything else for? Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Follow-up question from our meeting, the extra meeting about the basketball court tree roots.
Yes.
Is there any update on that? Are we at a place to be able to proceed with getting that basketball court surface more usable?
Close, because I've got to look at what the underneath the pavement the asphalt that's there are larger bumps than I remember. So in order to get those out properly, I would have to cut the asphalt and cut the root, and then cut the roots all the way around the basketball court deep. So like I said during that meeting, I'm very, very, very reluctant to cut a root of a tree that's under the canopy. So that's where I am right now, is going there, looking at the size of those roots, making sure that I'm not going to damage the tree.
That was my next question.
Yeah, by doing that. And then if I have any questions, I know a guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to suggest you ask our new landscape contractors.
They charge by the hour.
Who's our new landscape?
All right. Okay. Any other questions for Matt? All right. Okay. Financial report. Anybody have any questions about the financial report? Okay. Town council comments. I guess we'll start over with Sarah.
Come to the ice cream social July 3rd.
That's right. Tuesday, right? Mavis?
Still want to know where the cannon, it's not on, thank you. I still want to know about the cannon, where you've progressed with that or not.
Yeah, I've asked, okay, I've asked Joni to find out that, I can't think, Terry Marlecky has the cannon in his yard. And he came and got it. He's got it displayed. And I told him that, that it was not really the property of the school to give away like that. And so I have not heard back. She was going to contact him. I haven't heard not back of what he said. So he said anybody was welcome to come and look at it, but yeah, so. He did, yeah.
That
So
was awfully nice, but
Yeah.
that's like, it's not your property.
yeah, so the council, let me find out more information, then it'll be up to the council to decide what we want to do with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing for me.
I want to thank Councilmember Knock for bringing up about the basketball courts, because that was my concern too. And I agree with Cindy. Let's spend that downtown visual improvement and the town square repairs. Let's, what's it been, 2 years, 2.5 years? We can decide on benches and garbage cans and things like that. I think we can agree on that. I know you're going to hear me say this over and over, but I really think we need a strategic plan. And I had every intention of coming in here and voting totally for the farmer's market, winter market. I'm totally supportive of it, but I gotta say the concerns from residents put me on the brakes on to say, the town just cannot do what the town wants to do. We need input from business and residents in the town. Thank you.
Right.
In regards to the trees growing into the basketball court, maybe some poor option may be to move the court a little bit further away. If we need to repave the whole thing, move it away from the trees. Right.
Good idea.
Okay, I get, I have one comment. The elections, people to sign up closed. I think we got a list of who's running for office. There's 6 people running for council, and I'm the only person running for mayor. So it's on the, should be on the website. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so elections will be in November, take office in January. I think as far as, I think the school or OBCA is trying to organize a debate, president, council, same thing they did, as far as I know. That is anybody, Jeff, they're doing that, right?
That's true. Yep.
No, but it's sometime in, what, early voting starts in September, correct? So I think we try to do it just before early voting starts. So it'll be not that far away, really. Yeah, yeah. And that'll be at the school sometime, right? More information to come on that. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I have. Hopefully see everybody at the ice cream social. All right, thank you. A motion to adjourn? Second, all in favor? Thank you. Huh? That's not bad, 2 hours. That's not. If it gets on to 10, that gets a little bit long. Although we